It's Friday, June 5th, 2020. Today, Breonna Taylor would have been 27 years old. Still no arrests have been made in her murder. In the Black Educated and Broke news studio, a lot of big news this week. Here's what you missed. Protests continue around the country and around the world after the death of George Floyd on Memorial Day, Monday, May 25th, 2020. In Minnesota, as of Wednesday, June 3rd, Attorney General Keith Ellison has now charged the ex-officer who pressed his knee into George Floyd's neck with second-degree murder, while the other three former officers have been charged with aiding and abetting second-degree murder. A first of multiple memorial services was held for George Floyd Thursday, June 4th, in Minnesota.
On the record, Reverend Al, that it was not the coronavirus pandemic that killed George Floyd. I want to make it clear on the record. Will Packard, it was that other pandemic that we're far too familiar with in America, that pandemic of racism and discrimination that killed George Floyd.
George Floyd should not be among the deceased. He did not die of common health conditions. He died of a common American criminal justice malfunction. So it is not a normal funeral. It is not a normal circumstance. George Floyd's story has been the story of black folks, because ever since 401 years ago, the reason we could never be who we wanted and dreamed to be in is you kept your knee on our neck. It's time for us to stand up in George's name and say, get your knee off our necks.
A public viewing and memorial service is expected to be held in North Carolina Saturday, where Floyd was born. The funeral is scheduled for Tuesday, June 9th in Houston. In Brunswick, Georgia, more details are coming out in the death of Ahmaud Arbery. A hearing was held Thursday, June the 4th. All three defendants will stand trial and stay in jail. From the hearing, we know Arbery began to run out of the neighborhood when the killers in their truck forced him to turn back, and he was hit by the third suspect's vehicle. The shooter then jumped out of the truck, armed. Arbery, in defense trying to get away, was fired upon 3 times. The suspect recording has told police that the shooter said a racial slur while Arbery lay dead in the street. Here's Ahmaud's mother, Wanda Cooper, on CNN.
It was very heartbreaking. I often imagined the last minutes of my son's life. I didn't imagine it would be that harsh, but to learn that that statement was made in the last seconds of his life, it was very heartbreaking.
The power of voting has taken place in Ferguson, Missouri. The people of Ferguson have elected its first black and first woman mayor. Ella Jones, a former chemist and pastor, was the first black woman elected to the city council 7 months after the death of Michael Brown, a black teenager killed by a white police officer in 2014. She lost to the former and incumbent mayor in 2017, now succeeding him. He could no longer run for re-election because of term limits. At age 65, Mayor-elect Jones says, "It's just our time. It's just my time to do right by the people." For this and more headlines, follow me on Twitter at MikeB_news. Black Educated and Broke has a new episode this weekend. Check us out via YouTube, SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and Google Podcasts. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Instagram at Black Educated and Broke, on Twitter at BEB Podcast_ATL. I'm Mike B. Stay informed, keep the movement alive.